There we are. That's better. All right. I'm full bloom. Hi, everybody. It's Friday. I'm here. Going to give you guys a minute. Anybody that wants to be on here? Giving you your time. You know what I got to do? I got to do my pictures for next week. Well, there's only one picture I have to do for next week. Because next week, staying with the From Software Vignette, next week is Elden Ring, and I'm going to be doing a live stream about that. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to actually. I have to see because I pre-ordered it. I want to see exactly what's going on with this. So I'll do this while I'm waiting. One second. Let me just double check. It should be downloading soon. But the only thing is, I hope with Lies of P, I was able to start playing the night before. Oh my God, my Lena. My Theodora. Oh my God. Okay, anyway, let's go to my account. Let's go to see my virtual game cards. And while I'm at it, let me do this. Okay, 1 second. I thought I pre-ordered this already. Yeah. Oh, it downloaded already. Fucking Elden Ring. I'm so phony because I was thinking of making a video about how From Software games are overrated. And then the moment I found out Elden Ring was coming out on the Switch too, I was like, ooh. And then they were going to get their exclusive. I was like, ooh. And I tell you, PC, PlayStation 5, they're so pathetic, these gamers. I think I've explained the history of video gaming. Now, again, I don't ever consider myself a gamer because saying that you're a gamer for people my age equals you're a loser. And they're losers. And these are people that are supposed to be grown men who act as if they are speaking for other grown men as they make it that women are icky and that collecting action figures and living the life of the 40-year-old virgin movie, that piece of shit film, that's how real men are supposed to be or how cool guys are supposed to be. No, you're a fucking loser. And in any other generation outside like these last few, none of these guys would get paid attention to. None of them would have women looking at them in any way, shape, or form. But because the internet and the United States allows you to buy views and buy popularity, and because they're able to get all these crews and everything, because these are wealthy kids that are they're all connected. They have their useless business management degrees, useless for poor people like me. And their friends have those degrees. They got together. They played stupid ass video games. Like, let me think. Maybe wouldn't be a sports game. Probably some stupid racing game that was out on Xbox 360 or whatever. Modern Warfare. They probably just masturbated with each other on that one. And they think they know everything about the video game industry or whatever. I love when they do this. I love when they look up something on Wikipedia or they read an article and they act like they have full knowledge on what every developer, what every writer, what everybody was thinking of, what was in their heads, what was going on. You don't know shit. You don't know shit about reality. All right? Just live in your little fucking bubbles and play your stupid fucking wannabe movie games and complain that because it's woke or because they have good boys, can't even use the word woman, you're so fucking pathetically misogynistic, that now it's bad. Let me give you little baby boys a hint, all right? Sony always sucked. Always. If you are a real gamer, if you are older than 33, you would know that Sony always sucked. Always. There is no discernation from that. They always sucked. So trying to figure out what happened, nothing happened. Sony sucks. They were always greedy. They're always anti-consumerist, anti-customer, always. This is what Sony is. They're not coming back. because there was never something to come back to. The internet and all these wannabe gamer journalists turned their movie games into something bigger than they really were. They were dog shit. They always were. I played a lot of them. They were a bore, snore fest that required voiceover acting to sell their games. PC gaming at its apex, that is these weird independent games that sell the concept of naked young women taking pictures of themselves or sneaking into women's house. It's just this weird, warped, disgusting, perverse excuse. That's like PC exclusive gaming at its apex, because PC gaming offers nothing. Okay? There was a time when you could be a rogue bandit like rebel and play these ultra-violent first-person shooters on PC that you couldn't play on most other consoles until they started releasing on most other consoles, like the Dooms, the Quakes, the Wolfensteins. Those days, long gone. PC gaming at its apex is like City Skylines, which comes out on everything, and these bizarre, my aunt's home, weird-ass, like fucking warped fantasy games that are mostly just dialogue spilling in front of you with weird Gaius. There he is. I'm getting warmed up here, Gaius. You came just in time. But these weird scenarios that are completely unholy and unhealthy, played out in some storybook fashion. This is your gaming material is garbage. So I'm sorry to say that. But I find it hilarious how when you look up the Duskbloods now, since it's been getting all this popular and positive criticism, or not even critiquing, now suddenly it's like the first thing you see, Duskbloods PC, Duskbloods, no, it ain't coming out on PC, it ain't coming out on PS5. It's a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive. Nothing you can do about it. But it's Friday. Let's get started. I've been rambling and rumbling a little bit too much of my words. Guys, thanks for coming by. It's Friday afternoon, early afternoon. It's one of my favorite times. My job has gotten a little bit more chaotic when finally we were starting to settle into something and I was enjoying myself. And now we're going back to a situation where management has changed and things are not as positive for me. And we'll see what happens. Most likely nothing's going to change. But for a while, when you have new management, you got to feel things out. Now, I already know I already worked with this manager, so it shouldn't be too big a deal, but I just don't want him abusing me like he did when I first worked with him. Different circumstances, different times. But aside from that, love early Friday afternoon. It poured like a mother sucker like yesterday. It was just atrocious yesterday. Today is very nice. It's very nice now. I can feel almost an oncoming autumn chill in the air, and I don't like it. I love the autumn per se. I don't want winter. I don't want it. And I don't want to see the summer. And to be fair, June was kind of like every month has been slow. This month is gone. It's just disappeared. It's not even here. But I just wanted to draw people into a false advertisement because the title says, what do I think so far? Well, so far, I can't get on. I've got 5 sessions available, and I think at least 2 of them are in times that just do not coincide with what I do. Like one of them is tonight at 10 o'clock. Can I do it physically? Yeah, I can do it. I'll probably try to get on. But this morning, I got up early. I didn't get started till like a little after 6. Maria told me yesterday that by the agreement, you can't stream or record footage. Meanwhile, IGN, Ouroboros, all the top journalists and influencers and everything in the video game industry, they're playing hours at the From Software studio in Japan. They got footage. It's like, okay, thanks, man. I get it. I'm the poor guy. They're the wealthy. They get to do what they want. So all I did this morning was spend about 2.5 hours trying to log on, while fitting in my videos of Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion Remastered, and Lies of P, threw in a live stream of Civilization 7, which already I want to start over because something got screwed up, but I'm not going to. We're going to just continue where I left off before I accepted a piece I didn't want. And couldn't get on. And then at the very last attempt, it said that it's under maintenance, the server. So I'm going, all right, fine. Because according to From Software, they were claiming that, well, you had to be near the router or you had to plug in Ethernet. I'm going, when my internet feels like working, it's really good. My internet's not the problem. So it can't be that. And it turned out that it was a server issue. So I didn't get a chance to play anything. And I said I wouldn't watch footage from other live streamers or influencers or whatever because I wanted to be surprised. Well, I couldn't get on, so now I don't give a fuck. I'm going to watch, I think, Orboro. He put up about a 6-hour video or something like that. I think I'm going to watch that. But from what I've heard so far and what they've said is that it is unlike anything they've ever played before. And I'm going, well, yeah, duh, because From Software themselves, including Miyazaki-san, said that it was like nothing they've ever made before. So, once again, we are in that point. I got this fucking canker on my left of my mouth. It's driving me nuts. But once again, we're in that scenario where people are not getting what's happening in real time and in the real world. So as I was mentioning, because a lot of this stuff is somewhat entwined with what I'm talking about. It seems like I'm prattling off, but there's a purpose behind this. There's a theme. There's a plot. So I started off, and again, it was mostly to get myself warmed up, but I was talking about PC and PlayStation, these so-called gamers who are the worst excuses of fucking gamers I've ever seen in my life. You don't know how to play video games, all right? You guys suck. You guys suck at life. You suck at everything. You've had everything handed to you. Go fuck yourself. No offense, though. But they keep belly aching over something like, I watched this other guy who all he does is bitch about the modern ideology. I love when they pull the ideology thing out their asshole. Like, guys, let me explain to you a little bit of United States history, okay? The United States has been a debauched, disgusting slave labor camp since it was originally incepted. Don't let anybody, not even Will Sexton, tell you otherwise, okay? That's a fact. There was never any freedom here. You don't have freedom in a place that's a colony that its attempt at being a country starts with a bunch of rich, slave-owning landowners, and that is not wokeness or a leftist agenda. It's just a fact. Coming together and saying, all right, how do we get all this money for ourselves? That's not how freedom starts, okay? Your vote means nothing. It never meant anything. It's a farce. The United States has always been up for the highest bidder. If the United States had a mother, the people that own it would put a price tag on her ass and sell her to the highest bidder. That's all that matters. That's all that's ever mattered here. And that's what happens when you take rich, spoiled brats and let them play in their little sandboxes together because they never earned a dime in their lives. So when it comes to politics, United States politics has never been liberal or conservative. It's always been perverse because perversion is an easy sales pitch. Now, there are other reasons why that I cannot get into, but I'm sure my guy Gaius and all my brethren in Europe will know that one of the main reasons why perversion is usually and always or typically been a thing here in the United States is for specific reasons that have to do with other kinds of schisms that we're not going to be able to mention here. But upon saying that, the idea of the United States during the period of time where my family and other people of Catholic, Roman Catholic, pious, devout, pure, innocent, hardworking Europe, we got duped into moving to this shithole specifically because we thought we were going to get a better life, or we were going to escape the law, or, as was the case with my family, we thought we were moving back with some money. That's what we thought, and we got fucked. So we're stuck here. Hopefully not much longer because I got to get my passport, and we're trying to get our dual citizenship so I can get the fuck out of here and never return. I have to bring my family with me. I can't just go by myself. Like, I have to bring, like, my mother's already retired. We're looking for a far better life than, healthier, less stress, peaceful. That's what we're looking for. We'll see if it ever happens, but we're investigating. So that was what happened with us. But when we came here and they sent us over to fight in wars against the countries we left, the United States, in its perverse manner, attempted to act like, because that seemed to be the moving trend, how everything was trending, that the United States was getting all devout, that the Pope was pretty much running the United States, and in order to ensure that people would buy their shitty product, you had to appeal to devout 8, 9, 10 kids per family, no divorce, innocent European people. However, because of the other issues that those who own the United States had mentally and intimately and everything, their disgusting, degenerate children started a movement in their liberal arts universities like UCLA and everything called hippie movement. And the hippie movement, which was like kind of an offshoot of the beatniks, which were all about being artistic and banging drums and writing poetry and completely going against the grain of being hardworking and putting your lives in for a corporation, whatever. These people decided that they were not going to fight for anything other than Christianity, love each other and all that stuff, only they would do it in a way that would piss off the squares. So everything that you say is a leftist agenda or liberalism, it's just the modern version of the hippie movement, which wasn't even popular, but it was made known because it was rich people that did the hippie movement thing. It was rich people that can go to, well, it wasn't really Woodstock, but it was Woodstock in terms of what it was called, and wear no undergarments, especially for the women, dance around high on drugs, and have promiscuous sex with multiple partners. It was the hippie movement that made that possible, and it was always and only going to be because of a bunch of fucking spoiled brat degenerates who just wanted to anger their parents. That's all it is. So your concepts of ideology, are there some people who are writers or in the gaming industry that believe whatever this leftist shit is, that you have to be against women while you're talking like you're for women and all this stuff? Are there some that truly believe that? Yes, they're called interns, and they don't really have any say. What you're watching is a wrestling group of people not breaking kayfabe. That's what you're watching. They're putting on an act because they're under contract. They're indentured servants, and they have to put on an act. And because the shit's not dying, and because it won't die, and because there was a period of time where games like The Last of Us or Horizon Zero Dawn, which didn't really make that much money but kind of did, or any of the newer God of War games, because of the fact that Sony was popularized by the internet for making these great games with these great heroes and everything, and they're winning gaming awards up the ass, and all the influencers were all about it, since they grew up with, PlayStation 3 or 2. Because of that, these companies have spent the last 10 plus years going to hawk on that ideal. It's sold once, it sells every now and then, and since the United States is nothing more than one big, gigantic, disgusting, burning, flaming car wreck that everybody has to rubberneck and stare at, they're going to keep going down that route, because these projects, shows, movies, they don't take 2 days, they take years. And whatever was cool years ago may or may not be cool now, is now being finished and finalized and released. That's how it works. It's not for anything noble. It's not for anything useful. And it sure as hell is not genuine. It is just to piss people off. It gets all the rave and all the attention. And that's what sells. Pissing people off here. There's no quality. Hollywood has not made a good movie ever, with very few exceptions. Every film, every show, everything is just what's going to draw people to watch, what's going to get the Nielsen rating up, what's going to get the play time on Steam. That's all it is. Okay? So enough with the fucking stupid ass ideology argument, all right? I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired. Come up with a new bit of topic of conversation. But they're complaining because Wolverine looks like shit. Well, fucking duh. Spider-Man 1 and 2 were shit. Ghost of Yotai and Tsushima, shit. God of War, every one of them, shit. They're all shit. Sony only makes shit. When are you going to get this through your fucking heads? I've said this before, I'll say it a million times. I don't want to hear rich influencers complaining about the pricing of games or the pricing of consoles. You're not poor. You guys can spend $400 on that fucking tea set you've got on your bookcase that's in the honor of fucking Pokemon. I don't want to hear you complain about the pricing of what, to sound relatable, the pricing of consoles and what have you. I will spend $500 on a Nintendo console. I'll spend $80 on a Nintendo game. I'm poor as motherfuck. And you know why I'll spend that money? Because I know I'm going to be entertained. I know I'm going to have a fucking great time. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Tonight, for 2 hours, tonight, I'll be playing Star Fox. You know why? Because it's a fun game. It's got sharp mechanics. It's completely polished. It's got optional routes that can complete certain challenges. That's a great game. So whether or not it was 80 hours of just exposition and stupid shit or repetitive conflict or whatever, or it was 2 hours of just good, wholesome fun, that's a game I would spend money on. The Switch 2, I would spend $450 or $500. I spent $600 on that in 2 games. You know why? Because the moment I plug it in and I put my profile in there, if I took all my data from my Switch 1 and sent it to a hard drive or an online cloud server, I can simply upload my profile and get all the games I had on the Switch 1's hard drive itself. All the digital comes with me, and even some of the physical copies of games can come with me. It makes sense to get the Switch 2. It's the best console ever made. I will not spend $800 on another Sony fucking console because Sony fucking consoles suck. They always come with some kind of hardware issues, software issues, operating system issues. Their controllers are like handling newborn birds. That fucking company can rot in fucking Hades. It is a shit company, and it always has been. Trying to get anything good out of a Sony exclusive is trying to draw blood from a stone. It ain't happening. They don't have the capacity. They don't have the ability. They just want to hire actresses and actors, motion capture them to be damned, and then just remake the same game you've seen a million fucking times. So there is no reason to be shocked or appalled by Wolverine looking like shit. There is no reason to be aghast that Mystique is wearing body armor and it looks like a man. There's no reason for you to wonder what's going to happen with Jean. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Wolverine is going to mope and cry. You're going to have cinematic scenarios where you just pretty much are playing QuickTime events, and you're going to play Arkham again for about 4 hours. Then there are going to be about 5 hours of cutscenes that are going to lead to Jean Grey or Mystique somehow motivating him in some way, shape, or form as they do more badass things than he does. Because once more, let me repeat, the United States is so feminist, it's misogynist. It wants women to look god-awful. And it does. Because their response would be, well, you know, women can't handle a beautiful woman in a game they're never going to fucking play anyway. It's a lie. It's because to these perverse, disgusting degenerates, they love seeing men and they love seeing women act like men. This is what turns them on. It's just that simple. And that's not to offend anybody. I know everything offends everybody, even though Trump's president and we're all conservative Catholics now here in the United States, ignoring the fact that they're still closing Catholic schools and churches. And I don't know where all this Catholicism is coming from because no one's converting anywhere near me, that's for sure. But despite all that, the wokeness shit will never go away, not here in the United States, because you got too many useless, rich assholes who will sue you or defame you just because you said something that they think could be construed as slander. It's not going to go away, guys. Sorry to tell you. It's not going anywhere, okay? Sony's not going to suddenly revert back to 2013 when, wait, let me remember. They had a guy slaughter everybody in a medical facility just to save one kid who was willing to give her life to save the fucking human race. So after you spent an entire game in this masterpiece, brooding and crying and walking around with a kid who doesn't know how to shut her foul mouth up, like a little good 13-year-old young lady should, dress like a boy and everything after you spent all those hours slogging through nothing but burnt down, destroyed Boston and other, Jacksonville, whatever else they went to, and you listen to her say the F word 1,000 times, and even had a scene where people or a guy who was overweight and liked computers, apparently representing all gamers, was into a specific type of pornography in the magazines left in his backseat that a 13-year-old young woman was looking at because she claimed, I want to see what all the fuss is about. In that magnificent masterpiece of a game that wasn't woke by any stretch of the imagination, you played a guy who brooded for 4.5 to 5 hours of a 7.5 boring-ass repetitive experience that ended up shooting a nice-looking young woman straight dead in the skull at point-blank range because she was trying to stop him from letting the human race die out in a gruesome manner. And you're still waiting to go back to that. Makes perfect sense to me. So why do I bring this up again? Aside from the fact that the internet has broken my brain and I can't take it anymore, and I have to complain to somebody. The Duskbloods, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. There has never been any generation of Sony, any exclusives. Don't give me Shadows of the Colossus, where you drop off a young woman on a throne that's dead, and then you go and attack one giant, massive Colossus with the same fucking weapon in the same way that you do it again and again, and you do it 9 times to save this young woman as it tells this compelling story about who's the real monster. Because I've never seen that. Yeah, fuck you, okay? How about a game that's fun to play? How about that? Not one that's trying to tell this deep story that I don't give a fuck about because you're not storytellers. You're game developers. Do your fucking jobs. And it's a shame to say that because I think that Shadows of Colossus was made by a Japanese company. But even so, and I love Japan and I love most of what they do. But when I get into my anime watch update, I'm going to talk about some things about Japan's society that I'm starting to have a little bit of an uncomfortable time with. But we're going to get to that in just a second. But when I'm talking about real video games, Fire Emblem's Fortune's Weave and the Duskbloods, if I can ever play this closed network test, these are 2 games that Sony, all the offshoots, none of these companies and none of their console generations have ever been able to create. None of them. Everybody is saying about the Duskbloods that it's unlike anything they've ever done before. I've seen some footage. It looks fucking insane. And I really hope that, I've said this before, that this is the next big From Software game. But yeah, I can't get on. It said that they have to fix the... Yeah, I was not able. I tried a bunch of times. It said they have to work on the server. So I'm going to try again, maybe tonight if I don't doze off enough or whatever. I'm going to try at least one game because the next play times are going to be tomorrow at 1 p.m. to 5 or something. I could probably get in the game for that, maybe. And then after that would be Sunday at 7 in the morning to 11. I could definitely try to get into on that one for a while. But I can't live stream it, so... You'll say, oh, I'm going to have to interrupt my Overwatch play. By the way, fuck Overwatch. All right. I fucking, why do I even play that game? I don't even know why I play that game. I hadn't heard from my extended friend Scott from Suplex Music, who, by the way, he doesn't want me to say this to you, but next week is his birthday. So we're going to have to wish him happy birthday next week. But I hadn't seen him in a while. I hadn't heard from him. Next test today is going to be, for us, it's going to be 10 p.m. 10 p.m. to 1. So I'm gonna try to get on that one tonight for a little bit. I'm gonna try, but they have to let me in. They have to fix this thing. Well, this is part of the server test. You have to make sure it works. So we'll see. But from what I know, the game is incredible. And Fortune's Weave, every time I see anything related to it, I'm 10 times more excited. I cannot wait for this game. Now, I just want you guys to know that I am devout, pious Catholic, and I can tell you as your bookman and as somebody that's been in the fitness industry for over 20 years. Jesus Christ said it, you're married to a woman, you're married to her forever. He said, if you get divorced, you're committing adultery. This is what Jesus Christ said, okay? I know what you're going to say. Well, he also said all that crazy shit that John said that he said. That's not what, these are things that appear in all the synoptic gospels. You are a more civil, evolved version of the mammalian species. Wanting to be with multiple sexual partners is your business. It's not healthy for you. Okay, it's not healthy. One person is all you really need, and one person is all you ever should need. That's the only way, that's the healthiest way to go. As few as possible. I know that this debauched, disgusting hippie society wants you to think otherwise. They're lying to you, okay? Get some damn restraint. This is one of the things religion tried to help people become more civil and less animalistic. So upon saying that, I'm madly in love with virtually every woman on this planet, and I'm fucking horny as hell. So I still made a vow that I'm not going to break. And that vow was no video game or cartoon women would get me. It's not going to happen, okay? I have some dignity. I would not find myself to be even remotely appealing if I were to get off on a video game or a cartoon woman. Now, anime does its best, but I still will not do. However, upon saying that, I'm probably going to have to rescind that because I saw a split second of my beloved Lita dancing on the stage, and I went, "Holy motherfuck, that's incredible!" So it was a split second, and I said, maybe I'm going to have to rescind that vow, but I'm not going to. I'm going self-control, folks. Okay, self-control. I am going to really work through this one. I love her so much. But anyway, that's besides the point. But those games are looking so incredible. And like I said, I want to take a gander at the play footage that Ouroboros posted for this game because I really want to see. I'm getting an understanding as to what it kind of is, but it would be incredible to have the big bosses, to have the storyline so that it's considered one of those From Software like Elden Ring or whatever. Because I would just fucking love the Switch 2 to have the next big From Software game. I would love it. And if this goes well, and it's going to be incredible, we're most likely going to see some more partnerships in the future. Platinum Games and Nintendo had some partnerships. And then they kind of fucked that up. But not Nintendo, Platinum Games. But I would really like to see From Software do even more exclusives on the Switch 2. Because with all these wannabe gamers on PC and PlayStation who can't play video games worth of shit, like I was saying about Overwatch, the game gets worse every time I play it. The new character sucks. She's atrocious. This whole damage thing is damage only, drives me nuts because the only thing that Overwatch had was its strict role concept. Now they threw that in the trash to be more like these other online competitive games, which, by the way, typically involve mysticism or fantasy and have shops that help you enhance certain capacities of your characters who typically their abilities work in conjunction with each other. Overwatch is just a run-of-the-mill first-person shooter with some characters, some of which are attractive women, but it makes no difference because you can barely see them. Other than their hands, it's a first-person shooter. So it's always great that the little English young lady, Tracer, who has that sweet little ass, what does it matter? You can't see her. All I can see are her little guns. You know? Yeah, no, it's terrible, man. It's fucking terrible. So let me just give you this. When I go on, a lot of times I get so pissed off at my shitty-ass teammates because, again, this is cross-platform. Paladins, when it was first released on the Switch 2, not when it was first released, it was first released on the Switch 2 or Switch 1, and it was our own server. I won the majority of my competitive games, and the strategy that my Switch 1 fellow players were able to conjure up was amazing. So I'd win the majority of my games, then they cross-platformed it, and that winning went because I had to deal with these little fucking cocksuckers who think their kill-death ratio is all that matters, and their damage output. So when you're supposed to be fulfilling the role of the frontliner, I don't want to hear about whether or not they did enough damage. That makes no sense. Now that they made a tank, which is just an offensive unit with a lot of health, they're always going to have the highest damage and elimination count, always. But it doesn't mean you're going to win or lose. Winning and losing. That's all that matters. Okay? In any game, what's the object? What did the great Joe Namath once say? Here's the thing. Win the game. If you don't win, you suck. Hello, A-Rod and Barry Bonds. If you don't win, especially when you have teams that are stacked in your favor and the league is bending things in your favor, hello, Aaron Judge, LeBron James, you suck at the game because you can't win. Do you understand how it works? So I don't give a fuck about your stupid ratings or all your stats. You lost. And the reason we lost is because you can't fulfill your roles, boys. Because I know it's just boy. Every now and then I see somebody that looks like a young woman. And I love you ladies. You're the reason I'm alive and all that. But please stop playing Overwatch or any of these online competitors. You always pick the nicest looking woman. And that's fine. But then you act like you have to help the needy instead of doing what's fucking necessary. It drives me crazy. Try all you want. Maybe you'll get better. But it's just not in your system. Okay? You don't have the bloodthirst. And you don't want to just win at all costs. You just don't have the ones I played with, you just don't have it. Again, not trying to offend anybody. But, whatever. So you get on and you play with these pussies and they don't know what they're doing. And you can see that Blizzard itself is working some kind of political angle to just fuck with your win-loss percentage. That's all they're doing. They will not allow you to be higher than bronze 2, 3, unless you're spending $5,000 on your PC, you're in groups, you're on teams there. Unless you want to make it like your life, you're never going to be able to win consistently, especially in random pickup games, which I only play competitive. So you get on, these assholes suck dick. They can't play. The support's trying to be a damage unit. The so-called tank is hitting the flanks and trying to hit from behind enemy lines and everything. No one's capturing the point. No one's moving the robot. No one's pushing the payload. It's just not happening. And no matter how far back you think you are, some idiot on the other team is going to come run up behind you and attack you. And sometimes you get away with it. Sometimes they. It depends on whether or not you're supposed to win. You play a game and you're absolutely obliterated. You're shooting somebody 8,000 times. They shoot you once. You die. They don't. Sometimes the reverse happens and you're going, okay, this is totally rigged. Whatever it stands to be, Blizzard has an agenda. They have an algorithm. And one of the developers said, well, because we make it that you win 50% of the time. How about you make it that I win based on whether or not I have a group of players that knows what they're doing? Because if I had players that knew what they were doing, I'd never lose. What do you mean it's 50%? 50% of the time based on what? That's not how it works. You get equally gifted players to play against one another, and they compete at a high level. That's what's supposed to happen. But they made it known that they rig it to sort of make it 50-50. So I get pissed, and I try not to. I don't even know why I'm playing this fucking game anymore. I did it mostly for my friend. I'm waiting for Marvel Rivals to do something in between and take a break from all the work and shit that I do. No, that's true. You're right. That's what that's what I mean. Like, you have to buy the high grade shit. You have to get all the fucking, the microtransactions. Like, your account's got to be in good standing in terms of how much money you're spending. So you're right, guys. But whatever the case, I get pissed. So I use the in-game chat to tell my teammates they suck. Because they do. They suck. And typically, I'm always leading in healing when I'm support. I'm always leading in, damage when I'm damage, or I'm around the top. And when I'm a frontline, I'm always leading in objective time. That's just the way it is. Now, they call it tank, but it was originally frontliner. So I say, you guys suck. Nobody's going near the payload. No one's working as a team. I got this idiot over here getting killed because he's trying to catch everybody off guard. You're playing hybrid and nobody wants to be on the payload or on the point, and then suddenly some idiot on your team using like Genji or Tracer just hops on and all by themselves and the whole line breaks and everything. Well, here's the thing. They did, again, this is the second time now, they did ban me in terms of they silenced me. So now my commendation level, which should have been 6 or 7 by now, is at 0 again. I can't communicate with anybody for like a week or whatever. However, this is the kicker. Every game I play, before the game starts, I report all my teammates for leaving, for progress, impedance, whatever. I just report them, right? There are people who I report who will also curse and have their entire message blocked out. There was a guy today that insinuated he wanted me to commit suicide because of the fact that I just was not going to play a game where you guys do not know what the fuck you're doing. I'm not going to play a game with another silver-ranked Moira who does like 2,000 healing, 8,000 damage. No, I'm done with you. That's not how you play the fucking game. So when I'm getting slaughtered because I'm all by myself on the point while you little fucking gnats are flying around doing jack all, I'm not playing. Not doing it. So I just sit out. This asshole said something about just going to back alley and get over it. So I reported this fuck. And I also used their new reporting concept of terrorists or whatever, even though that word is a very laissez-faire liberal interpretation of what a terrorist is here in the United States. But I did that to ensure that this thing hits home. Do you think any of these assholes get fucking banned? I could play a game with one of them. They could be egregious, and in the next game, they'll be on my team again and still doing the same fucking thing. There was a guy I was playing with in 3 straight games that all he did was show up, do nothing, and talk shit. I reported him every time. Still on. Then, see if this makes sense. They keep doing this like biannual or triannual or annual season shit where they re-rank you. They made me play as a support. Like today, Blizzard goes into this like Overwatch like period where sometimes you're only playing as a tank, sometimes you're only playing as support, sometimes you're only playing as a damage unit. But sometimes you only play as a damage unit is kind of like 60-40 as opposed to 90-10 like the other ones because everybody wants to play damage. So I got my rank on support like immediately because I played like 100 straight support games. I won 3 of them out of 10. Bronze 2. Why is that significant? Because when you get to Bronze 2, it's time for them to force more losses. Sure enough, I keep losing. Why? No tank, no other support, damage units are getting killed constantly. It's like, yeah, no, it makes no sense, man. Nothing makes sense. It's you know what it is? It's not only what's trending, it's who's going to be the one to complain. Who's going to complain? That's what it comes down to. So, like, who's going to complain about what this person see? And as I said, Gaius, like they're trying to make it seem as if they're listening to the masses, and now they're trying to become more conservative. It's bullshit. Okay, it's bullshit. Now, your governments, you have a little bit more say in what's going on because they try to act like they represent you. The United States is a total dictatorship where they tell you what you have to believe. So, and you guys are educated, so you understand when, this is one of the reasons why I love anime so much. You understand what's wrong with what's happening in front of you. The United States is just filled with these fucking high school mentality idiots that if the rich, cool people tell them that it's true, then it has to be true. Okay? This is the society that said online they have influence, they can't be wrong. Okay? So what the United States does is the lobbyists tell them based on what their interns and their Google searches are demanding. Oh, wait, this is what they're looking at. Like it's what I said when we started moving here to the United States and becoming like building these little Catholic, communist, socialist communities, when America was great again. Like when we start doing that and they try to act like here are guys that would work with the the mob of a specific, and not the Italian mob, of a specific veneer or a specific genre, where they would have male accompaniment drinking illegal alcohol. The people that were fighting to keep alcohol illegal during Prohibition would be drinking illegal alcohol from mobsters they were apparently trying to throw in jail, who offered them male companionship. Okay? That's what the United States is. Now, whatever floats your boat is your personal business, not mine. You do what makes you happy. I have no problem with anybody who has no problem with me. You do what you want to do with your life. I'm just saying that when you try to act like you're a hardened Christian conservative and you're drinking illegal alcohol with mobsters who are murderers and blackmailers during a time when alcohol is supposed to be illegal, with male companionship, despite whether or not you're a male, and just for a spoiler alert, yes, predominantly the United States government is male, especially during the 20s and the teens and the 30s and everything. Just so that you know. So the United States will do whatever the lobbyists tell them to do, and whatever they're paid to say, they will say and dictate to the United States, this is how it has to be. If you're on this side of the bipartisan bullshit political spectrum or that one, you have to say this. You have to believe this. And sure enough, they are going to say and believe that. So now it seems as though the conservatives are now taking over again. Of course, it's bullshit. There's no conservatism here. You can't even be a woman in the United States. It's like against the law. So the idea that it's getting more conservative is now allowing certain things to be filtered through and not allowing other things to be filtered in. So it's just, that's all. It's bullshit. It's a lie. It's a lie. Now, in Europe, I know that I think that I know that fascism came back in Italy. I know that for a fact. So there's going to be, and that was mostly because we didn't want to have masks forced on our heads again. But like with other governments and everything like that, they're still trying to act like they're, being a little bit more laissez-faire. But the people will dictate that we're not having it. We're not having it. Not here. Not here we get told what to do. We get told we have to believe this, that, or the other thing. And then they keep trying to weigh it out as if like a vote's going to make a difference. Vote's not going to make any fucking difference. Okay, if you live in a state that's blue or red, it's going to be blue or red. No matter what the hell you do with it, it's not going to change. And the president is based off an electoral college. The president has no power anyway. Never did. Never fucking did. Even since George Washington, who left and said, stay isolated, just so they cannot stay isolated, the president has no fucking say in anything. When the president of the United States wants to push for a bill, they have to appeal to Congress, who then appeals to the lobbyist rich people. That's how it works. And Congress will usually tell the president, go over to this country and represent like you're supposed to and be a good little boy and shut up. And that's what happens to your bills. Okay? So the president is completely pointless. Completely pointless, always has been, always will be. That was a group of fascist dictators, rich boys who owned the United States that told everybody, don't worry, we've got this guy here that you can vote on to ensure that we don't do things you don't like, which never happens because they always do things you don't like here. But be that as it may, whatever the case, Overwatch still sucks. And yeah, like I was saying, like the whole thing about wokeness is, yeah, sure it is. Sure it is. I would love to be able to just say what the hell I want. It's not much more I would say because I don't really have any anger outside these fucking rich kids that have everything and don't earn a dime in their lives getting famous and I'm still stuck here. But aside from my bitterness, I don't really have much to say about anything because I don't care. I'm a Nintendo-only guy. When it comes to video games, I'm only getting Nintendo games, and they're the best games by far. I don't give a shit about your Wolverine. I don't give a shit about your online service free-to-play games. I don't give a shit about Overwatch and its sexuality fucking description. Like, what do I give a shit what their they're made-up characters in a video game? What's that? So wait, I've got an idea. How about you use that as a mechanic? How about you use it that if a man is attracted to other men, when he's near other men, he does more damage or gets more defense or something like that. And vice versa with women. No, that doesn't. Why? That would be like, no, we're just going to tell you that this one is this and that one's that. What the fuck do I care? What do I care? But like, even so, whatever. It doesn't bother me. It's not going to turn me off. What turns me off to Overwatch is the game sucks. But it's not going to bother me what preferences are. It doesn't mean anything to me. But to make that into a thing, it gets people watching videos on YouTube. It gets people talking on Discord. That's all it is, guys. Okay? Don't take it too fucking seriously. I'm not saying to you, buddy, and guys. I'm saying in general. For anyone that would watch this. I'm just so pissed this fucking stupid-ass Yankees keep fucking winning. I don't understand. Somebody's got to explain this to me, all right? I was a Yankee fan. I've been a Yankee fan my whole life. I fucking hate this team. Somebody has to explain to me why the Yankees can get a bag of Doritos that'll pitch a fucking 6 innings of shutout baseball. Like, it's obviously it's fixed. Duh, right? But, okay, so now let me finish up because it's almost been an hour. We're going to do Anime Watch, all right? This is going to take at least another half an hour, so I just want you to bear with me for a sec. What I've been able to complete since last I spoke to you guys last week. So I have 2 different series I watch at the same time. I have the series I watch in the living room, and I have the series I watch in the comfort of my own bedroom. With pants on. I made the vow. It's not going away. No, I'm not going to get off on it. I'm going to keep saying I'm madly in love with them, but I'm not getting off on it because so don't think that I mean in the privacy of my room like something nefarious is going on here, all right? It's totally clean. It's all about the art. So we finished Soul Leveling. My friend kind of suggested, or he was saying he was watching it. We finished Soul Leveling after we finished Demon Slayer, the first part. Like, we watched the Demon Slayer series, and we finished the first, what was it called again? The Demon's Castle or whatever. We finished the first movie. Demon Slayer is fucking epic. If you've never seen Demon Slayer, I don't care if you're into, everyone's got Netflix, or if you get Crunchyroll, even though YouTube is all against Crunchyroll because they had the audacity to tell you to pay $10 a month to watch unlimited anime, more or less, with English voiceover, Japanese, whatever. I tried the free streaming years ago. There is always a catch. You have to go to like dark horse areas that are probably not legal, okay? So once again, don't tell me how to spend my money. I'll spend the $10 a month. It's cheaper than YouTube Premium. And I'll have one account to watch, Rising of the Shield Heroes entire series, to watch Miss Kobayashi, like all that stuff. So we finished Soul Leveling. Amazing. Soul Leveling is amazing. How they take something that's like Hunter x Hunter, only work hard and get where you want to be type of thing, was incredible. It was incredible. It will be another year or so until we get a 3rd season, which kind of hurts. Great series. Great series. Now we're going through Jujutsu Kaisen, and this is really good. This is really, really good. When it comes to Lady Watch, pretty much every Soul Leveling woman I'm madly in love. I said this, like, it's amazing to me how watching anime, even new anime, has made me remember the huge differentiation between men and women. Because you don't see it here in the United States per se. The only difference between men and women in the United States, more or less, is women, or those that identify as women, typically have their hair longer and wear tighter shirts. Like, that's about it. Like, there's no difference where I live anyway. Women dress like fucking rags. They act like fucking scumbag men. It's just, so when you watch anime, you get a better understanding or reminding of the difference between men and women biologically, physically, emotionally, everything. And how Japan can keep making women these ultra powerful beings without them being obnoxious and wannabe men is incredible. So I finished, we're watching that. We're almost done with that. We're going to have to come up with something else. Myself, I finished Date Alive after I finished Magical Senpai. Magical Senpai is just bliss. Again, the short stayed on. All right? Just letting you know. But Magical Senpai is like 2 hours worth of 10-minute. It's nothing. So I finished Date Alive. Date Alive is 5 seasons. Love Date Alive. Love Date Alive. Got me into the harem ones for artistic purposes, of course. I'm a man of culture, after all. Loved all the women. I said this before. Madly in love with Toka. Madly in love with Mio. Madly in love with my beloved Nightmare. All of them. Loved them all. Absolutely spectacular ladies. But origami is my wife. Because as I said last week, give me the pure, innocent woman who's only my slut, because I will be her slut only. That's what I want. Oh, a combination of her and Mio and some of the others. Also, I love the Japanese woman deadpan delivery, monotone. Oh, God, they make me laugh my ass off. They really do. Now I'm going through High School DxD. High School DxD is shameless and yet is still a good story. It's amazing to me how this show will find any reason to get one of these gorgeous women naked, and it doesn't even make it. They will have battle strategies in a fucking hot bath just to have at least 2 or 3 of these gorgeous women sitting naked together. And they will be talking about what they're going to do with their pawn pieces or their bishops or whatever, how this may, while the camera is just tits and that's it. And you see everything. So just that you don't see vagina because that's against the law in Japan. But just that you know how this show starts. We see the main character and he's yapping about what he's yapping about. They show a character that a cartoon character I'm obsessed with, Ria's Gremory. This is the love of my life. Give me her in Italian Catholic, Roman Catholic, and I'm good for. That's the reason I'm living. And in that scene, to foreshadow the metaphor of the chess pieces, and by the way, she calls herself the king, meaning the king of, like, on the chessboard. She's playing chess mostly by herself with, in her school uniform skirt. Obviously, they have to have school uniforms. And then for no reason whatsoever, undresses. So we got like the real women's panties and the real women's brassiere, and she takes everything. And I saw this and I went, oh, it's this show. Okay, cool. This is fantastic. But like I said, this whole hierarchy with the fallen angels and the angels of God and the demon, it's like, where do you come up with this shit? It's brilliant. It's great. And they use names from other mythologies outside, like, Greco-Roman, Christian mythology and everything. And I'm just going, wow, this is really impressive. Like, it's really impressive. And the way that they do the whole thing where you're a demon and how you become a demon and everything, it harkens to so many aspects. And it's so Shin Megami Tensei, where there are these group of rogue angels that want to just destroy everything. And then you'd have to, like, rebuild it from scratch. Like, it's so Shin Megami Tensei. And I love Shin Megami Tensei. However, upon saying this, I love the show, and I want to get it over with as fast as possible. I'm going to explain to you why. Because the main character, Issei, I fucking hate him. I want him dead. Every time that little cocksucker speaks, I want to fucking watch him get choked the fuck out. I am not that type of person who talks during movies or whatever, or cartoon series. I want to watch what's going on. I want to get the plot. I want to see if it's well put together and everything. And every time this fucking Japanese Beavis talks, I want to fucking kill him. And it's not just because in this imaginary world, he's got all these gorgeous women that I'm in love with throwing themselves at him. It's because he's weak, helpless, pathetic, and I'm the biggest pervert on this planet. But I know how to talk to a lady. You don't say dumb shit to a woman like, oh, your boobs were nice. It's like, can you fucking put a fucking leash on this motherfucker? I can't stand him. And to make matters worse, he gets these gorgeous women naked on top of him, and all he does is fucking cry and run. So it's like, you keep talking about how you want to be this harem king. You keep talking about how you want to have all this sex and you want to feel these women up, and they throw their fucking massive tits on your face, and all you do is whine and cry. I want you dead, Issei. I want you dead. You ruin everything. You are ice in the pants. That's what you are. Whoever came up, and I love what Japan does, and I love how I think there's satire in their low fertility rates because these men are too proper now. That's like they're afraid of women. But be that as it may, when you talk all this shit, when you've got posters of women in your room and a woman throws herself at you and you can't fucking seal the deal, only one of these gorgeous women in one single scene mention that he was even getting aroused. You have got to be. This fucking guy has this little blonde former nun turned demon, and the goddess known as Rias Gremery. You can look her up. That's my wife. That's my real wife. They're sleeping in the same bed with him, and he's crying about how his life sucks. And all he does is talk about and scream about in front of women, the women that apparently are in love with him, how he wants to touch boobs. He wants to do this, that. And this is what motivates him to get this draconic power inside of him. And the moment it happens, he fucking does nothing. It's like, dude, you're such a pussy. I can't fucking stand you. And considering it's in a universe where there are other guys his age that know how to be respectful, not to mention the fact that the woman that he's talking about, more or less, is the queen or princess of the fucking underworld. And she, of course, regal, debonair, stunning, feminine, the whole spiel. And yet he talks about her like she's a fucking piece of ass. And then she throws herself on him and he doesn't know what to do. It's like, oh, God, fucking kill this guy. Every time he talks, I want him dead. Every time. It's like unholy. So I'll be watching the show. And of course, the women pop up and I'm like, oh yeah. And then he says something like, can you fucking kill him, please? Like, I'll say it out loud. Like, could you fucking kill him? To nobody in particular. Fucking hate, he said. Fuck, he said. He says like Sony, fuck you, die. Die and burn in hell forever. And I'm sure the voiceover actor's done other things. If I look it up, I'll probably be like, no, not you. Don't tell me you played this fucking character. Could you have changed the dialogue somewhat? Like, he's such a pathetic waste. I can't stand him. And he's got these gorgeous women throwing himself. Nothing's happened, by the way. Even my beloved princess of the underworld is still a virgin, and she'll tell you that much. She had her first kiss with this cocksucker. And then he's even got her brother telling him about how he can enhance her boob size. I'm like, she's fucking perfect. So anyway, here's my thing. If you run marathons and you've run, just like I said about married to a woman, married to her forever, like one relationship, that's the best thing for you, the only thing you should be doing. But to each his own. When you run a marathon or you run marathons and you win the longest marathon, that which you've worked your whole life for, either you do it again or you sit back, you take a break, you lean back, and you say, you know what? I'm good. This is enough for me. If you are a mountain climber and you reach the highest peak, you could try to do it again. But you know the euphoria will never be outmatched. This is the highest peak. You busted your ass. You did all you could for the prep work, and you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. You sit on a summit. You grab a coffee, apple juice, cigarette, fucking porno mag, whatever gets you going, whatever relaxes you. And you see I'm a pervert? See what I'm saying? But I still know how to talk to a lady. And you sit back and you say to yourself, I'm good. When you have Rias Gremery, there shouldn't be another woman in your life. There shouldn't be another thought of a woman. That is all you need. And considering she has the power to obliterate you, and she's your master, and she's fucking sleeping in your bed, naked, you sit back and you say, when's the wedding? Then we consummate. Then we have half-demon children until there's no more room. That's what you say. You don't keep talking about your fucking harem and keep talking about her boobs to the point where this regal goddess of a woman says, I'll let you suck on my boobs, which he didn't get because he sucks, period, and all he does is lose. And like, I'm done with the second season. There are 3 seasons. This fucker hasn't won one fight. Like he drew, like he had a draw in the last one. Why? Because Azazel, knowing his stupidity, mentioned that whatever the white dragon was doing could lessen women's boob size, and that motivated him to fight hard. I'm going, but no, listen, fighting for the magnificent perfection that is Ria's, yes. But that's the only woman you should even be thinking about. I get it's a harem show, but even with Date Alive, I could tolerate Shin because he was an innocent kid that had a good heart and everything and wanted to save these women. And it wasn't sexual. It was like a family. They loved him and they made it homosexual, but it was but you can understand because he was a clean-cut kid that was scared and even needed help with people telling him what to say. This fucking dickhead keeps acting like he's Mr. Hornmaster, and then when the moment arises, he can't do shit. Now, again, I'm against promiscuity. I'm against all that stuff. All these women are virgins and everything, and that's a beautiful thing, and that's the way it should be. And obviously he can't he shouldn't be able to get a woman. But it's just that it's the concept that you've got the most stunning woman on the planet in the palm of your hand. She's getting jealous of her own best friend because of you. And your response is to keep acting like you're the God King of women, and you can't close the deal. Kill the fuck. I want to see him die. But I'm going to finish that. And for artistic purposes, we're going to go into World's End Harem for myself. The other series, I don't know what we're going to do. I'm going to have to figure. I keep seeing Bleach, but I think that has one season. Like, we like to watch, series. So I told you it was going to be half an hour. Well, that was like 15 minutes. But yeah, no, I just had to get that off my chest, out of my head. I fucking want Issei. Of all Deku. Deku was a good hero. Little motherfucker had nothing. Started at zero, busted his ass, broke his bones several times, saved everybody he could. It wasn't about being a douchebag or a pervert. He saw one young woman, Ochaka, my beloved Ochaka. They started becoming friends. He walked with her. He talked with her. He called her up on the phone. They became like that. And then they started getting to be a couple. That's how you do it. Right? That's the main hero. The Jinwoo solo leveling, motherfucker had nothing. And this beautiful young woman that was like his friend would keep healing him, and she was concerned with him, but he had nothing. He gets reborn, becomes the player, and he just busts his fucking ass and becomes unstoppable. And then has an S-rank goddess getting concerned about whether or not he likes her. That's my motherfucker. My dude, Nafumi, in Rising the Shield Hero. Never sexual, all about being family and everything like that. Had all these, his whole party was just young women. Whole party. When nobody wanted anything to do with him. Those are anime heroes. This cock has everything handed to him and fucking still sucks. Can't stand him. Run him over with a truck. Can't stand him. So that's where I am with anime. I'm going to try once more to get on Duskbloods. Next week is the release of Elden Ring. It's already downloading on my console. Hopefully, I'll be able to get this started early because I don't want to do like 1,000 videos. But we're going to see what's happening. So we're going to talk about Elden Ring on the Switch 2 next week, seeing as how there's all this controversy about how it's running. The guy is showing a fucking trailer that's like a showcase that's a minute long. And I love how secretive Nintendo and Bandai Namco and From Software are being about this release. I love it. Because watch it run ridiculous, like butter. Watch. But he's like analyzing the frame rates. I'm going, what the fuck do I care about frame? Stop with the fucking frame rates, guys. It's the game, right? Unless it just stops. And I'm sorry to tell you this, but it doesn't run smooth completely on PlayStation 5 Pro either. It's got a lot of particle effects. Particle effects fucks the environment. It fucks the operating system. It just fucks you. It's going to slow things down. Even Donkey Kong Bonanza's particle effects could slow things down at times. Not long, but whatever. But stop making it like, well, I don't know if the Switch 2 can handle it. Of course the fucking Switch 2 can handle it. That's why it was built. That's why they're releasing these games. Because it can handle it. The Switch 1 can handle a lot of things that a lot of these, older, like last generation consoles had a hard time handling. I'm sorry, Witcher 3. Was that a PlayStation 3 game? Or was that a PlayStation 4 game? Was that an Xbox One game? Was that Xbox 360? I think it was Xbox One and PlayStation. How come the Switch 1 could handle that game and all the DLC, but the Switch 2 can't handle Elden Ring, which was also released on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One? What sense do you make? Of course it can handle it. So they just didn't want to have like a release and then a million updates or whatever. Just get it done and whatever. And again, they're working with Nintendo, so it has to be quality. but we're going to see how it runs. But he was doing this test, and it's like it was hitting 55 frames per second, 46 in certain areas, and then it goes to like 25. And he's, well, I don't know if it can handle the boss fight, dude. How about I kick you in the crotch like a soccer ball? How about we do that, okay? It'll handle it. It's fine. Cut the shit. Switch 2 docked is a PlayStation 5, Xbox Series 1. It's a modern-day console. Handheld, it's like a top-of-the-line handheld console. It's going to handle it. It'll be fine. And if you try to nitpick every little fucking split second to see it get down to 25 frames per second and make that into a deal, I'll say to you, watch the other console versions and you tell me how smooth it is at all times. It is a very big game. And From Software games usually don't run 100% perfect on any console. So fucking relax. But we're going to be doing that next week. We're going to be talking about how Elden Ring is looking so far. I'll have the first 15 minutes, the first video and everything up on my gaming channel. Do a review of it on here and then still do my live stream for you guys because that's what I'm all about. I will see you all next week. You all take care. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything you do. Please like, please subscribe if you watch this later on. I will see you next week.